Okay, I think we have it set up. Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. Let me just adjust the sound now. Okay, right now we do have Sean finally on. I have to let
hmm
people know that you have to do the KCG. Did it come in okay when you did that?
Yeah, it did come in okay. I'm so sorry. I wasn't aware about that.
Oh, no, don't be sorry. Well, I want to welcome you to the Mike Leonard Show on KCG. And first of
Thank you.
all, thanks for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. I was kind of like, oh, no, especially after chatting with you. And we did play your song already. I don't know if you heard that.
Yes, I heard. Thank you for inviting me and thank you for playing my music. It's really appreciated,
Well,
especially for new artists like us. It's very appreciated for you to give us a platform. You know.
well, thank you. You make the station. People that actually want to come on but I guess I'm gonna have to kind of hurry up tonight because you had a whole bunch of questions and I have a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
of
okay.
time. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Sean?
Yes, I am an artist that's based in Montreal, Canada, and this is where I grew up. And I really do make music. I write my own music, and I produce my own music. And really, I'm on this journey. I have an EP out. My first EP I released in 2018, and it's called Teen, but that's only available on SoundCloud. There, from after that, I have a couple of singles like 4am Feelings, like you guys heard just now, and that one was released. I think it was released in 2020, and I have a new single that's coming out in June on the 17th, which is called Back Then.
I got it.
And I forgot about another one. Another single I have that's called Give Me What I Need, which was released last year.
Oh, okay. And when
Yeah. Sorry.
no, that's
Yeah.
great. I love interviews like this. I'm just wishing it would have been a little sooner, but uh,
Yeah.
when did
I
you?
could always come back, I guess.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome anytime, Sean. And I want
Thank you.
if people are listening right now and just came on, we're talking live with Sean Jonas on KCG, and we're going to ask you when did you start singing?
I started singing at a very young age. I think I was probably around 8 years old. We had a karaoke machine. My uncle and aunt, like family friends, they brought that karaoke machine, and I started out singing the classics. At those this Diva CD, and after there was another CD with Michael Bolton, and that's how I started out singing. Those were the first artists: Celine Dion and Michael Bolton. That was
Oh,
my
wow.
first introduction to music.
Wow.
Yeah,
And Sean, how did you get into music?
I got into music because at school we had this thing where I had this teacher. He's a great. His name is Frank Wallet. He's a very popular guitarist over here in Montreal, and he does mostly rock music and everything. And his music class really was modern. He had this new idea of like, we're gonna have guitars in class. You guys take the guitar. There's the piano, and we, he really pushed us to make music that we heard on the radio, which was really inspiring. So he always auditioned singers, and my friend said, "Why don't you go audition? To sing?" And I was very shy at the time, and I auditioned, and I wasn't expecting. I was the only guy, but I made it through. He said, "Hey, I think you have something." He saw something in me, and the first solo I sang was "Hit the Road Jack." Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to send us some more of your songs? And
Yes, for sure. I have a lot of songs. I'm currently working on new music. I want to make a new EP, and I have so much different ideas, so much different directions I'm going into, and I'll send it for you guys for sure. You guys are the first ones to listen
oh
to
well,
the new
thank you.
music.
And we'll keep playing it too
That's for
for you.
sure.
And Sean,
Oh,
what would be your advice for any upcoming singers today?
I think I was speaking to my friend yesterday, and a lot of times as artists, especially new artists, we get a lot in our heads because there's so much artists out there. There's so much. Everybody's making their own music. Everybody's posting, especially in the social media world that we're living in now. It's very hard to find your own voice. You know, you can't forget who you are first, and you have to remember to always tell yourself, it's better if I just go for it than I rather than not going for it. You know, you have to do get out of your head and just do something.
Right. And you write all your own music too for this, don't you?
Yeah, I do, and I got inspired by a lot of artists like Carol King and a lot of those big songwriters, even Neo, which is more on the R&B side. And it wasn't a fact. It wasn't because I wanted to have control of everything. It's because I was a singer first, and I was seeing a lot of covers, and at a certain point, I just wanted to have my own material. So
When
that's how I started out writing.
okay. And when did you actually start writing your own music?
Just like I told you in the same singing class, the music class, we
Uh-huh.
had a challenge to write. It was an assignment to write our own song, and I think I was probably 14, and I wrote a song, and it's called "Better Life." And yeah, that was the first song I've ever written, and I try to emulate the songs I heard on the radio because I love the radio.
And what inspires you to write music?
I love that question. I think everything. Sometimes I could watch a movie and get inspired, or I can personal life as well, or also the life of my friends or people around me. I've never limited. Everything inspires me. Sometimes I can have an idea. Like I love how Sia has this idea. Sometimes she goes with a word, chandelier. She takes that word and she writes a song with it. You never know. You could take a simple word and just make a song with it. You never know.
Wow. And what are your or who are your biggest uh, musical inspirations?
Yes, I think I would have to say Stevie Wonder because he's very diverse. I have to go with the classics. I think he's probably one of the biggest ones because he has albums and albums, and they're all different themes. I mean, and he's not afraid to step out of the box. And one of the best lyric writers as a songwriter.
Right.
Mhm.
I have to ask this. You look awful young to be liking all the classics and stuff. You're not that old.
No, I'm not that old, but I think the way how I grew up with my grandparents are really good. I think they're big fans of Motown, especially my grandmother. She loves Solomon. I forgot his name, but a lot of the artists from the '60s, like not Marvin Gaye, but even further, like I'm having a blank, but yeah, you know, yeah,
And I got to ask you about this new single you just sent me. Actually, I believe it was yesterday.
yeah.
Back then, what
Back
inspired
then,
you to write that new single?
well, since I love a lot of the old school classics, and I love looking back on the past, and I love looking back on the past because I think it gets to shape a better future. And back then, that's the theme of the song. I'm just looking back on life, especially sometimes you look back on old memories. Like in particular for that song, I'm looking back on high school, and I'm remembering trying to remember the important stuff because nowadays a lot of the people that I grew up with, they probably some of them passed on, and sometimes you don't always get to cherish those moments while you're in them.
Right. Wow. This is going quick. And
Yeah,
another question: how do you stay motivated to keep making the music?
it's hard, and I gotta be honest. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it, and it's good to have a break from it every now and then. But you gotta remember to keep pushing, and like I said before, I think it's really just getting outside of myself and stop questioning my own abilities and just going for it. And even if it sounds bad, sometimes even writing, I went through a huge writer's block last year, and it's like I was so frustrated at myself. Like, what am I gonna write again? What am I gonna write again? But sometimes you just have to go for it, and even though you're trying to avoid it from being imperfect, but the imperfections are what makes it really that makes it come together. You know.
Hmm. And who's actually? Are you a solo or do you are you in a band?
No, I'm a solo. Yeah, but I've worked with a couple of artists so far, and yeah.
Okay, yeah, because sorry, we got my son just actually got a new puppy, so he's. uh, do you do you prefer
Yeah.
making music on your own or do you prefer collaborating with others?
I actually do love collaborating with other artists. I have a couple over here in Montreal. We have a little small scene of music,
Uh huh.
and we have a little our own little small cliques. And every time we get back together and we go into like a little intimate studio just to jam out or something, I just love playing off of the ideas of other people. And especially when it comes to writing, when I write with somebody else, they bring a different perspective to a song that I may have never have thought of. So it's always interesting.
Oh, and how would you describe working with a voice Belgian contestant, Kevin? I'm going to hope to say this right.
Yeah,
Lavandi, Lavandi, or
yeah, you said it right.
Lavandi?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Levante. Uh, it was so fun actually. Since with COVID, we couldn't, and I live all the way in Canada. He's all the way in Belgium, so we couldn't meet up face to face. But we did it through Zoom and through FaceTime. And I spoke a lot with him. I got the gist of the idea of where he wanted to go with the song, and I didn't think of anything when we wrote the song. We wrote the song. I put my ideas for the chorus, came up with a lot of the melody and the chord progression, and no, I didn't think of it at the time. And after a couple of months later, he's like, "Oh, I have a surprise on his Instagram," and he's surprising his fans. I was like, "Okay." And he made it onto The Voice, and he sang the song that we wrote together.
Really?
So yeah, and I was so excited. It was just like a out of body moment because I never would have thought that the little writing that I do over here, like to me, it doesn't mean much to me. It's just part of what I do. I didn't expect it to ever get to national TV before.
Wow.
It's just it's hard to grasp.
Did anybody vote for him or turn their chair for him?
Yeah, they did. I think one of the artists turned his chair for him, and he made it quite far. I think up to the top seven, but I'm not quite. I
Really?
don't
Well,
remember. Yeah,
congratulations.
yeah. Thank you.
And
I
Sean,
was very excited for him. Yeah.
oh, I bet you
Sorry.
were.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool news. I know. I spoke to one artist on the station. Oh, this was a couple of years ago, and he actually auditioned, and he didn't make it on to actually the what do they call that, the demo or the live. He made it up to, I guess, the what do they call that, setup or before, and he didn't make it, but he was all excited. He said it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you brought that up because even myself too, the pre-auditions, I
Yeah,
actually auditioned for The Voice twice, and I've never got the chance to get in.
really.
Yeah, and I think I'll audition again. And also, the thing with The Voice, it's a great show. It's a great platform, but it's so exciting. But at the same time, you have to be prepared. You need to have. It's really it's a prepare starter. I don't know how to say the exact word, but it's like a it's break or make it. And
Wow.
yeah, I think the artists that make it onto it, I gotta congratulate them because it's not easy. Because you have to have the artist,
Hmm.
the artist look, the
Right.
artistry as well, and you have to have the voice and the story. You have to find a way. You have to also have a personality that connects with people. It's a lot of different elements, and you also have to learn how to work a camera, which is very important.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean
Yeah.
for the pre-auditions or to get in there?
Yeah, because they have a camera there when you're auditioning, so you have to. Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah, it is cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And just auditioning for the pre-auditions, it's really it's a training. It's a training. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, yeah, I guess if you do get on the actual show, if somebody likes you, it's an easy way to get on the label too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that would actually be good for a lot of these indie artists, wouldn't it? To actually try to audition for the voice or idol. You think so or no?
I think so. Because it prepares you. I think as indie artists, we're always used to be on the bubble making our music, and we forget about the aspect of what if one day I'm not getting paid? What if one day I have, it prepares you for the show business aspect of it. Like preparing you to sing live on shows. Some of that's what a lot of us are missing. So going on The Voice, I do recommend it, and I think it's so helpful, especially for an artist like me.
Well, yeah. Well, you just opened up a can of worms for me because I was thinking you're the second artist on the station that I've actually talked to that actually was auditioning. And that's pretty cool because I was just thinking, I got to ask you, did you actually sing one of your originals or did you do a cover?
I actually did not do any of my original, and I think that could have been something that would have been really strong.
I
To
think
sing an original. Yeah.
I think if the indie artist could get on there and do an original. I mean, I know Teen or Idol, because yeah, Teen Idol. I haven't watched that in years, but I know if you sing your own song. I mean, me personally, I would rather hear an original when I did watch it. I mean, because I mean, a cover is a cover. You know what I mean? But next time if you do it, let me know. I'd really be interested, especially if you do back then.
Yes, for sure. I'll let you know.
Okay.
And
That's true. Quite interesting. So, Sean, how would you describe your current state of music?
I think it's so complicated. There's a lot of people posting out there. I've never seen, I think, what we can do if we compared it with like the 90s or the years before. There hasn't been as much music out there. And we have so much access to it easily. But it's always, I think it's just harder for artists to maybe stick around more often. And I think it's because of just how saturated it is. So everybody's bringing their own elements. I just think there's a lot of good things and there's a lot of not so good things at the same time.
How would you explain the art of making music?
Music is, I think it's something that we do, and I was trying to explain. So I have a little group of artists that I love to speak to. We stick around with each other. We push each other, motivate each other, and I've been telling you about that. When it comes to singing and writing this field, it's a feeling. And as long as you don't have to be the best writer, you don't have to have the best rhymes, the most poetic sentences. As long as you have a story, and as long as you feel everything that you're singing, you don't have to have the largest range or anything. As long as you're feeling the words that you're saying, it's the most important because people are going to relate to that. And
Right.
you can't buy fake energy, you can't buy emotion.
Wow. Hey, I'm sorry. I think I was playing a song. I think I was playing a song during our interview.
Oh, that's
Oh,
okay.
I hope not. This has been one heck of a night. I had to reschedule or switch everything around on here, and I think I just checked it, and it looked like it was playing song, but I'm sure you're going to be heard, and I'll be heard. So, and Sean, how would you explain the art of making? Wait, I just asked you that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I was like looking at the monitor, and it was like, oh shoot. What's next for you in music right now?
What's next for me? I think what I really wanted to do is do background vocals for other artists. I do want to collaborate and be in the background, but I do want to finally push myself more to the forward and push myself more forward. I mean, I have an EP that I'm working on, a couple of songs, and I want to push myself in different genres and different sounds, and even different languages. So that would be cool.
Really? Wow,
Yeah,
that'd be cool. And
yeah.
what has been the biggest obstacle as an artist you've gone through?
I think it was fighting myself. I think that's the biggest challenge because even learning how to sing in my teen years, I had this, all these guys, every time male singers, we have this issue when we get to a certain age. The voice doesn't sound the same, it changes, and you have to accept it for what it is. And I think it's just learning how to get out of my head and learning how to work around things and learning, especially when it comes to posting music and promoting music. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to bother all of my followers. I don't want to bother people with my new song, but you have no choice. And especially you have to believe in yourself and you have to just go for it. And if you don't go for it, nobody's gonna push it out for you if you don't fully believe in it.
Right. And Sean, so what's an average day like for you? What do you
An
do?
average day. An average day. Aside from making music, I do work and I do go to school. So there's that. But I think mostly lately I've been focusing on well-being personally, going on walks. It's so helpful. I get so much inspiration for music that way. And yeah, and that's how my day goes. Mostly writing. I try to write a little something every day for an hour. I try to force myself, to get the music out because it's there, but it needs to be taken out.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're quite busy, aren't you? Uh,
Yeah. Now that I notice, yeah. But
and
I always make time for music.
oh, that's great. And how do you interact with and respond to fans? Do you keep in touch with them and interact?
Yeah. I think most of my fans for now, it's very small. So I sometimes have little conversations and, a lot of people suggest songs for me to cover and I respond back. And I love responding to comments, especially on YouTube, because I feel once you have that connection with people, it takes you a long way. And when you're down to earth, it's so much different. People feel like they really connect with you. They feel like you're their best friend, and that's my goal with my fans.
And have you ever dealt with we only got about 5 minutes left, so 4.5, but have you ever dealt with performance anxiety or
Oh yeah, for sure. I've dealt with it a lot, and especially when I first started singing in the music class. That's when I first realized it and I first experienced it. And what I learned from it is practice, practicing in front of people, practicing in front of an audience, just like the people that go on The Voice.
yep.
It's so helpful because you get to break the nerves after the second performance in front of like a little audience. Third, it gets easier and you get used to it. You still get the little butterflies, but you
Right.
don't get it as often as or as bad to the point where it's affecting your performance. So yeah.
Wow. And do you have any weaknesses that your activity do you have any weaknesses that your activity working to improve on?
Weaknesses, yeah, it's the perfectionism, and I think a lot of artists that I've met, we all have the issue where we listen to the track and we're like, that note could have been better. I could have wrote something else over here, or I could have, maybe the guitar was too loud over here.
Right.
We're very picky about what we want, and I think it's good to let go of it. The imperfections is what makes it beautiful sometimes. And,
Mm-hmm.
the raw organic nature, when it's too calculated, it comes across calculated, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it doesn't connect. Yeah.
And what's your favorite instrument to play?
Oh, I think my favorite instrument would be the piano.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, I think the piano because I always love making harmonies because I can see it visually
Mm-hmm.
more than with the guitar. The guitar, I know you can see it more. It's you don't see it as like with the piano when you put your hands on it, you can see, okay, well, this note, if I sing it, I can make a kind of chord. I can make a little chorus. It's more interesting. It's more visual to me.
Right. Sean, we're going to have to end this pretty soon, but is there anything you want to say right now before we end the show to your fans and friends and that may be listening?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for supporting me, and I think I've just started, so there's so much more. There's so much more music that's going to be coming, and there's so much different ideas you guys are going to see. And yes, please keep your ears and eyes open.
I will, and you keep sending us your new stuff too, and even your older stuff, okay? But
yes, for sure.
But Sean, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time tonight to do this interview with us, and it's been an honor to talk to you, and been very interesting, and I just want to thank you very much for coming on tonight and being on the show.
Yes, thank you, Mike, as well. Thank you for taking me in. I really appreciate it, and thank you for tolerating my little lateness.
Oh no, I was like, oh geez, I just like, because I knew you were logged in there, but I just like, oh, I hope so. But I suppose I'm going to have to sign off on the show. But I want to thank you very much for coming on tonight. Okay.
Yes, thank you, and
Okay.
for sure, anytime.
Well,
I'll love to come back.
anytime you want, you just set it up. We'll get you on. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
I got to. Okay. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you. You too.